everybody, welcome to the Malbeefance channel. This is episode 17 of our continuing series replay of Strategic Command World at War, War in the Pacific. So for those of you that may be new, the Allies are moving onto the offensive on all fronts. We have Soviet forces moving into Manchuria, although the Soviet forces are kind of light at the moment. British forces are starting to push back a little bit in Burma, and we have a small operation on Sumatra. Chinese forces are involved in a desperate defensive action against Japanese forces in northern China, where while in the south of China, the Chinese forces are actually holding off and in some cases even pushing them back, just recently taking back the city of Nanning. The most success is going on over here in the Solomons. The Americans have taken the Solomon Islands, and they have taken at least the Rabaul portion of the Bismarck Archipelago. The Admiralty Islands are still in Japanese hands, and Australian forces are starting to concentrate and pushing back in New Guinea. So let's go ahead and advance the turn and see what we get. So Chindits are suffering attrition losses because we have not secured a good enough supply source. Chinese morale is boosted by the liberation of Nanning, and Japanese morale falls due to the loss of Nanning. All right. So from Office Secretary of War, Henry Stimson, Brigadier General Frank Murrell is currently training the 5307th Composite Unit, a Special Forces unit specially prepared to fight in Southeast Asia. These are Murrell's Marauders. With your approval, this unit will be formed in India and deployed at Calcutta as part of the China Air Task Force, and will cost 30 production points. If doing so, it cannot be reformed if destroyed, but it can be commanded by General Chennault or other British and US HQs. Otherwise, it will deploy in the United States as a regular US Army Forces unit in October. So do I want to deploy Murrell's Marauders to the China-Burma theater? Yes, I do. I need more units over there, even though there is the danger that if they get wiped out, I will not be able to reform them. All right, British production technology makes it to 65%, and industrial technology is, they hit 100, so okay, industrial technology is now at level 2. USA advances advanced fighters to level 3, and naval weaponry to level 2. Chinese spying and intelligence now at level 1. Australian command and control just made a breakthrough and is now at level 2, so they're maxed out there. There is the ledger for the up and coming turn. And so now the computer is calculating supply for the up and coming turn. So the problem, well, hang on. Let's see. Japanese national morale rises as Operation Bright Moon secures Indochina. If I remember correctly, Operation Bright Moon was a campaign to gather allies for the Japanese out of occupied areas. Japan suffers casualties while defeating French forces in Indochina. That's a lot of hits. And now I know they got units down here. All right, so where are we going to start first? So we got some repositioning going on. Mostly in northern China. Uh-oh. That should be Musashi. Okay, so it looks like we got a resurgence of some naval activity near Rabaul. That looked like Musashi. I know Yamato's sunk, but it's possible the computer may have gotten another super battleship out there. But I believe that is Masashi. And she just got heavily damaged. And unfortunately, there goes my Chinese, communist Chinese headquarters. Oof. Chindits are in serious trouble down there on Sumatra. We're going to have to get them out of there. All right, so we lost the city in northern China. The loss of Taiyuan reduces Chinese national morale. No kidding. So northern China and southern China seem to be yin and yang. Whatever advances I make in southern China, the Japanese are able to make advances in northern China. Chen HQ destroyed. What is that? 8th Route Army destroyed. And there is our activity summary for the previous turn. All right, U.S. intelligence spots a corps in Rangoon, TIE fighters, and Soviet intelligence engineers spotted near Tokyo. Chinese intelligence reports Yamashita's HQ in Southeast Asia. And here are our reinforcements. The carrier Intrepid joins the fleet. And 3rd Marine Air Wing. All right, USSR 10th tanks. We're going to deploy those as close to Zhukov as I can get them. While 1st Mechanized, I'm going to put them over here, so I got a few more units to rotate through this stalemate. All right, Chinese 9th Army. As much as I'd like to put them in the south, I absolutely got to have them up here in the north. I don't know. It might be to my advantage to go ahead and pull my line back here. All right, anyways, that's it for reinforcements. Let's go ahead and start over here on the west coast as usual. So unfortunately, U.S. forces have had a number of technology upgrades. So it's kind of going to delay me as I take advantage of that. That's the only thing I don't like about the technological portion of the game. Sometimes they're hitting so quickly that I don't have time to do anything, or I have to decide not to take advantage of the technology increase, which then begs the question, what was the point? All right, so as usual, let me see what I can do down here as far as refitting and upgrading. So I apologize for how long it's taken me to get a video out, but I was having a problem with the software and my lack of knowledge with the audio program in question. It took me a while to get that worked out because I'm not using Windows 11. I am sticking with Windows 10, and I have got a couple of updates that came down the internet that have caused some problems with my audio. All right. All right, so we got, can I do any searching out here? How far can I get him? Oh, nice, that was lucky. So we got a second battleship. And we got that cruiser up there. All right, so maybe there's a much bigger deployment going on here than I thought. All right, well, let me go ahead and have a look around the periphery first before I do anything else. All right, as much as I would like to give Holland their elite reinforcements, it looks like I'm going to need as much support as possible up here. Do I upgrade her or do I get her into the fight? All right, what are the upgrades? So naval weaponry and advanced fighters. All right, well, I went ahead and I spent to update everybody else. Let's go ahead and get at least one carrier out here. And yep, that is Musashi. And the Hornet makes the kill. Awesome. All right, that was her second strike. I don't know how much damage we've done to that vessel. So let's get Colorado out of there. Just run as far south as I can get her. So who is that? That's Issei. All right, West Virginia gets the kill on the Issei. Again, she's down to 6 damage, though. Let's get her out of there. Now, there was a carrier up here somewhere. I don't know if I want to go hunting for it or not. And so 2 battleships, a heavy cruiser. There's a carrier out here somewhere. No, oh, there we go. Awesome. So is Chuyo. Do I have anybody else? Yes. Now, do I have a clear path to her? Yes. And Nevada gets the kill on the light carrier. So that means I can go ahead and use these guys to go after the cruiser, assuming the cruiser does not have any support. Who is that? Toggle. Have Iowa coming. Oh, found another battleship. Just in case. Because, I mean, Japanese ships are popping up all over. This is what is this, our 4th battleship now? 3rd battleship? So heaven only knows how much more they got out here. I don't want to leave any of my ships hanging. But unfortunately, these 2 guys are hanging out in the wind there. And that sinks the Congo. So holy smokes, we've managed to take out 5 ships. Now, what do I want to do with these guys? I know they've got truck garrison, so there's no point in landing there. And now that I've got a sizable force of the Japanese here, I don't know if I want to bring them into this area. That might not be a wise idea. Eniwetok is more than likely going to be garrisoned. So, all right, let me play it safe. I don't want to keep them on the boats either, so. Yeah, so I'll just bring them back there and hold them, try and protect them with the Navy, and then we'll go ahead and we'll use them to go ahead and try and take Lorangau. They'll have the Hornet to back them up with some air power. All right, now this might not be the greatest idea. If I've got all of these Japanese ships in the area, then I want to try and make a picket line. Actually, put him there. So maybe that'll help cover for the battleships. Just depends on what else they got out there. He's actually good where he's at. In case anything slips by the Marblehead. All right, so that was pretty big. So Issei, Kongo, Musashi all sunk. The escort carrier sunk. The Otago. Okay, that was huge. So let's go ahead and put some pressure on the New Guinea force. Okay, this might not be wise, but I'm going to try it. All right, awesome. Okay, that was lucky. The Japanese don't have anybody here, so we'll be able to cut them off from supplies. Now, I am not going to send him up to Hollandia, but he's out of command control, so he's going to wind up running out of supplies real quick, but he's right next to the town, so hopefully he'll be able to take it next turn before he runs out of supplies. Bring these guys back for upgrade. Leave these folks picketing. All right, so my sub got hit. Catch-a-lot got hit, so let's go ahead. Let's get her out of there because they know where she's at. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to bring Seal all the way over here. I don't know how much more the Japanese fleet is in this area, so maybe Seal can get behind any retreating ships, pick off any damaged units. And I got to get the Chindits out of here. Hopefully they'll survive to where I can reinforce them. So in the meantime, I'll have Indomitable. Okay, unfortunately they don't do any damage, but I don't know, maybe they'll discourage them from advancing. Alright, so these guys have got to come back for supply. But Luckily, the submarine can move in and take over. Alright, I'll leave them there to help cover for the carrier. And I think that's all my naval forces over here. Yep. Alright, so that brings us into the Indian Ocean. Alright, I want to use him in Sumatra, but let me go ahead and upgrade him first. Take advantage of it while I can. Alright, so unfortunately we weren't able to do much damage there. Uh-oh, can we get him? Maybe. Alright. So that's a small victory. Alright, he's running out of supply. No, he is out of supply, so let's get him back. Alright, let's see if we can do some damage to those Japanese medium bombers. The Flying Tigers will escort. So the Japanese try to intercept. Flying Tigers try to cover for them, but unfortunately they were not able to prevent all damage. Let's give it another try. And no damage at all that time, unfortunately. Alright, let me get him closer to supply. Maybe that'll help out. I mean, he's close enough to where he can engage in the air war here, but he was undersupplied, so now maybe that'll help that. All right, so it looks like that's going to pretty much take care of Southeast Asia except for here in South China. So let's see what we can do here. All right, 0 to 2. No, I want to get these guys their level 2 weapons. So unfortunately, I'm just not going to be able to take full advantage of that situation. Can I get him out of there? Nope. And I don't want to move him down here because that'll just set him up to get wiped out. Not that he's in a great position now. Alright, my Chinese fighters are undersupplied. I guess they're not able to get any supplies from the Chinese or the communist supply base, unfortunately. So, let me go ahead and move them closer to the front. And despite that, I'm going to use the bombers anyway. I figured they'd be intercepted, but things are getting a little desperate for my Chinese forces. Okay, so that was helpful. They're going to have to hold the line there. But that gives me an opportunity to go ahead and upgrade these guys. Now, I know a lot of you aren't happy with the idea of me spending production points to upgrade garrisons, but right now the Chinese are hurting for forces. So I got to plug the gaps with whatever I've got available, and I've got some garrisons, so they're going to wind up getting upgraded in the hopes that they're able to hold the line until I get more forces out there. Excuse me. All right, what's under there? Nothing, but they are defending Luoyang. I'd would like to pull these guys back, but I can't. Let's go ahead and plug that gap. Okay, so their upgrade is just longer range, so getting them reinforced is more important right now. And getting him out of there. So the only place he can move to is here, and that doesn't do him any favors. Yeah, I'm just going to have to surrender the territory. I'll go ahead and spend all of China's production, see if I can get some units. Probably not with 147, all those upgrades that I did. All right, so let's go ahead and reinforce my Soviet forces. Delay them while we're waiting for the tanks to get down there. Okay, so I know this unit's going to be low on supplies. They're going to have a hard time maneuvering, so that's why I'm taking the opportunity to take those low odds attacks. Now let's get him back a little bit closer to supply. All right, what's under there? Ooh. I don't believe this will work, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. No, they did deploy air power. All right. All right, plan B. Did not work. But now the computer's got to spend money to reinforce him. So it's money that they're not spending elsewhere. All right, so I think that's going to do it for movement and combat for this turn. Yep, looks like it. All right, so first thing I want to do, see what we can do to get more Chinese forces out there. All right, so let's reconstitute that unit, the core. Can I reconstitute? Yes, I can. All right, so it's only a core and a garrison, but it's better than nothing. Oh, the UK can get another army out there. I can't upgrade them completely, but let's get them in the pipeline. All right, let me have a look at. So, all right, so we got land units coming in. We got a few more naval units, air power for the United States. So, all right, let me go ahead. We'll get the paratroopers out there. Get another garrison out there. I'll find a use for them. All right, now the Soviets. Let's get their paratroopers online also. And I already spent for the nationalists. The communists do not have enough points to buy anything, so we'll just bank that. And now the Australians. What do they got coming? Just the aircraft. All right. get the artillery online. I'm sure it'll come in handy. All right, so that does it for production. That is it for the turn. Let's go ahead and advance, see what happens. And 3rd Commandos are not suffering supply losses. That's it. For the Chindits, unfortunately, I was not able to get them resupplied. Korean Liberation Army sends some men to India as translators. And USA develops anti-aircraft level 1 and production technology level 3. Communist Chinese develop production technology level 4. They're almost maxed out there. Australia's production technology is up to 50%. Breakthrough for the next level. Industrial technology hits level 3 for the Australians. There is our ledger for the up and coming turn. And computer calculating supplies. All right. The computer just did me a favor by advancing that garrison. 2 more battleships, 3 more Japanese battleships. All right, we lost the destroyer. It's all right. I got plenty. 3 more Japanese battleships down around Bismarck Archipelago. And the air war over northern China. Yeah, the Japanese have got a good concentration of their air power in between China and Southeast Asia. Oh. Oh, so now northern China can get flanked. Ouch. Yeah, things are not going well in northern China. I'd hate to have to pull forces out of southern China in order to blunt that offensive. Hopefully the Russians will be able to make a serious advance that the computer feels necessary to pull some of those Japanese forces out of northern China. In the meanwhile, I'll go ahead and I'll try and get more Chinese units up there. Even if I got to throw more garrisons like straw into fire. Alright, Allied raiders disrupt Burma-Japan convoys. So that's the only alert we're getting. There is our activity summary. Yeah, so unfortunately they're pushing us further back. In northern China anyway. Intelligence spots a that looks like a special forces unit. All right, so General Slim joins the fray. Good. Actually, the best thing for me to do with him is to get him over to Sumatra. And tons of American troops. And the Alabama. All right, USSR 13th Marine Brigade. I'm actually going to use those to try and take Sakhalin. All right, Lee HQ. Thank you. Can I get him any closer? Not really. 2nd Garrison. I will need you there. 93rd Army. Hello. All right, so that's going to do it for reinforcements. So as always, we'll start over here on the west coast. Let's go ahead and get the albacore underway. And I do believe, yes, Intrepid can get underway. All right, I have to upgrade 3rd Marines. But we can deploy 1st Marines. Now, do I want to jump them all the way up here? Or do I want to have them in New Guinea? Actually, they've got air power out here, so it might be best to deploy them in New Guinea. All right, let's do this in stages. Let me get them over here. That way they're actually on a supply point. I don't want to deploy them into the jungle. So I'll wait until I get these guys moved out of the way. All right, anything else I can do over here? Doesn't look like it. All right, so that takes us to Hawaii, where I can finally get Bunker Hill underway. No, we will take the southern route. I'm not going to risk it. She doesn't have any escorts. Okay. So now these are garrisons. They probably got spotted going by the Gilbert Islands, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and have Belleau Wood cover for them. All right, anybody else out here? Yep, New Jersey. And I do believe I should finally be able to pull these guys out of here. No, they need to be reinforced. I know he's only down 1, but all right, so that gets all of them upgraded. Do I have a port down here that I can get him to? Nope. All right, let's get the tanks out on the water. Now, the question is, though, do we do amphib or do we do transport? Actually, I am going to do amphibious. The Australians, however, yeah, so now I can't upgrade him for doing that. All right, maritime bombers can actually reach. Okay, so let's see if we can draw out Japanese air power. I guess not. All right. So anything else going on the continent? The sandy continent? Now, can I reinforce him? Yeah, but only 2 points. So can I get him to Fremantle? That way he can repair. All right. I am not going to upgrade his anti-air. All right, yep, so we can get Saratoga underway. Awesome. Oh, hang on a second. What is she set up for? Bombers. All right. All right, so we got 3 Japanese battleships here. This one's in port, so we'll have the bombers go after that one. And we'll get Hornet to follow up. Awesome. One more battleship down. Yeah, I kind of figured he'd retreat into the port. That's okay. Get the heavily damaged ships out of there. So do I have anybody that can take? Yes. All right, we got a couple. Let's have Massachusetts go in there. Okay, so who is this? Nagato. Okay. It's not a great exchange, but I'll take it. Oh, that was painful. All right, so now I can bring you guys back. Now, unfortunately, he cannot reach over here. And I cannot upgrade him. Why can I not upgrade you? Because you're not sitting there. Now, he is on the town. Can use him for spotting. Can he get? No, he can't get as far out as I want him to. Well, at least he can check out the port here. Doesn't look like there's anything there. All right, anything else we want to do? Yes. All right, so if that battleship tries to get out of there, he's going to have a rough time. Excuse me. All right, and that is going to almost cut off supply for these Japanese forces. Let's see if I can't whittle them down. Now I will keep him on defense for the moment. Let me check something here real quick. Okay, so that's going to open up the town for the fighters on next turn. All right, you guys. I wanted to land them here. Can I get around the far side? Yes, I can. Oh, awesome. All right. So that worked out. You need to get out of there. You need to get out of there. Now, did he just pull in? Yes. All right. All right, so good stuff there. So even though we don't have the movement points to move into the town, there's no more defenders on the island, and we pretty much cut off supply coming down here to Lehi, and we're attenuating what forces they still have there. All right, so definitely good stuff. All right, anything I'm missing over here? I think we took care of everybody. All right. All right, so my less than successful operation here at Sumatra. Now, unfortunately, I've got to get Indomitable back to resupply. Luckily, she is able to make it to Port Blair. Oh wait, hang on. Before I do that, and unfortunately, he just arrived. All right, so I'm going to take these two, and we're going to try and land directly on Medan. So now he's good on supply. Most of these, the escort vessels, Indomitable's escort vessels, are pretty much good on supply, so I can have them head back and escort the follow-up amphibious force while Indomitable resupplies. All right, so that brings us to Southeast Asia. That brings us to Burma. Need to get my forces upgraded here. Ooh, 0 to 3. Yeah, let's take that. Can he? Yeah, let's do it. Oh, we can attack the headquarters. Yeah, definitely. I don't want to advance him just yet. It seems that there is a supply issue every time I try and get a unit down into this hex. Now we're not going to. I'm going to use the Flying Tigers to escort 14th Air Force, and we will go after the headquarters. Now, I may be spinning my wheels here because there are two Japanese headquarters down here, at least as far as we know. The second one is still down there. So I might not really be doing a lot of damage to command and control by focusing on this headquarters, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Now, the Flying Tigers did a really good job escorting 14th Air Force this time. So, yeah, they did take some losses, but 14th Air Force did not. All right. I'm not able to upgrade these guys as much as I had hoped, or reinforce them as much as I had hoped. Now, can I finally get you guys out of there? No, I cannot. I got an idea. All right. Nope. If I could have gotten across the river and taken a chance to attack. The fighters, however, I was worth the chance. All right, I actually need you guys in the north. See if they can't help out with that problem. Yeah, those tanks are a problem. I don't like the idea of paying for the same real estate twice, but it might be to my best interest to pull this line back. I can't get him out of there. All right. All right. So hopefully we don't. The Chinese, communist Chinese, do not lose enough morale that they wind up pulling out of the war. They're hurting for supplies. But at least I have these guys to try and threaten the supply or the attempted flanking maneuver that's going on there. All right, anything else I can do here in northern China at the moment? Not really. So hopefully I can break contact long enough to where I can get these guys their level 2 weapons. I mean, that was the reason why I brought him down here, so I can go ahead and level 2 there and then swap these guys out and solidify my line there in central China. All right, so moving on to the Soviets. Yeah, they spent a lot on him. All right. Reinforce the fighters. So what's their supply? Their supply is still 5. All right, let's get them on the other side of the river. Improves their defensive position. Now this guy's got to be hurting. Not the direction I wanted you to go. All right. All right. Every casualty helps. It's worth it. All right, so we're making progress here with Zhukov's army, and we'll get the armor down here next turn. All right, anything else for movement and combat? Doesn't look like it. So, situation is not doing well here in northern China, but I think we can turn it around. All right. So I know I've been lacking on research spending. I just feel like I really need to get more land units out there. The situation in hang on before I do that. The situation in northern China has got me concerned. So I figure let me go ahead and do what I can to, at the very least, make a get the stalemate back there, and because I mean, yeah, we're still advancing everywhere else. At least minimally, we're advancing. So, all right, do I want the Corps? Or do I want the Special Forces? So, what do we got? 4-3, 4-1. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I can't upgrade them. All right, United States. What did I spend on them last time? Yeah, the paratroopers. You know what? Let's get the other one out there. Okay, so they're both going to deploy one after the other. I do not have enough for the. I'm going to bank the Russians' production points. All right, I can get that unit back out there. Get the cavalry division into northern China. Hopefully, just as a garrison in one of the towns or something. Let me hang on to theirs. Let me bank theirs. I want to get those armies back. And Australia. I'm going to try and get another corps in the field for them. Okay, so that's it. That's all their armies and all their corps I can get in the field. All right. All right, so that is going to do it for this turn. That is also going to do it for this episode. Once again, I apologize for how long it's taken me to get this episode out, but there really was technical difficulties with the audio system, and so here we are. If I can, I'll try and get this caught up and see if I can't uh, get another video out today, but I'm not 100% sure, so please don't hold me to that. Okay. As always, if you've made it this far, hopefully I haven't bored you to tears. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Please go ahead, leave a like, and drop a comment. They help grow the channel. Still trying to push for um, that 100 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It doesn't cost you anything, and it does help grow the channel. Who knows where we can go with this? Um, and then also, if you know somebody that likes this sort of content, go ahead and share it with them, please. That can help grow the channel. And I will see you. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.